Thanks, Rick. Welcome back, everybody, from the mini bye week. Going back to touch on the WKU game, I thought our players competed at a high level. I thought for 80% of the game, we were effective in the things we wanted to do offensively, defensively, as well as special teams. But I mentioned it last week, when you're playing against the high-level teams in our conference and the guys that have had a ton of traditional success, you have to be as close to perfect as possible. And in the crucial moments, we weren't at times, especially down the stretch. And, you got to tip your cap to Tyson and those guys at Western Kentucky. They know how to win. They've been, ever since he's been there, they've been successful, and they have a good program. Now, I think we have a good program as well. Again, when you watch the film, you sit there and you get disappointed about the chances you had to either take the lead or win it at times, and we just didn't get it done. And I think it's a really good time to have a little bit of a mini bye week. We were able to get back to the discipline and execution and attention to detail that was lacking at some points during the game. It wasn't all over the place. It wasn't a sloppy game by any means. I think we were in the fight the entire game, just couldn't get the plays when we needed them most. And we're excited to go to Middle Tennessee on Wednesday, play on national TV, and get after it.
You know the timeline on Jacob's return?
Yeah, so he's day-to-day.
And then as far as the knee injury, I know it was kind of vague on Friday, but was it a knee?
Yeah, lower extremity issue. We're working with our team doctors to kind of figure out the best way moving forward. We've got a great plan in place. We trust our team physicians. Our rehab coordinator, Mitch, does a phenomenal job. We're excited to see him back really, really soon.
Is there any chance that he'll play Wednesday?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's day-to-day.
As far as who came in and took his place, Deuce Bailey, obviously, you and I have had the opportunity to talk about him. There's a really high ceiling there. What did you think about him when you had to plug him into what was a really big situation in a game that you could have walked away with the win?
Yeah, I love Deuce's mindset. The one thing, and Cash mentioned it last week after the game, about his ability to rally his teammates around him. He's got a contagious confidence to him, and that's what you want in your quarterback. And he was effective at times. He had good reads. He was able to evade the blitz and create some things with his feet, which was nice to see. Obviously, with Jacob's issues, we're going to have kind of two separate game plans ready. We'll have the version for Deuce, and then we'll have our traditional version for Jacob Clark. I think that's a pretty good thing coming in off a bye week, to where we have kind of both options. If Jacob's at optimal speed and strength, he can play, and we'll go with that game plan. If not, Deuce with more of your Lamar, type of game plan comes into play as well.
Do you anticipate that is Tuesday the drop dead, Wednesday morning, game day of? When are you going to make that call?
Yeah, normally the play clock's at about 25 seconds before the offense is supposed to go out there. So I think at that moment we'll have our decision, and whoever runs out, might get the first series, might get the second series. We'll see how that goes.
With J.J. O'Neal, what was his status from last week?
J.J.?
Yeah.
J.J. has decided to redshirt, so he will be not active in any games moving forward this season.
Back to the quarterback situation, right? What are the challenges for the guys up front when they're trying to prepare for two different guys? I mean, do they have to have a different mindset? One guy's, their styles are so different. I mean, how do you
for our guys or theirs?
For our guys up front.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's tremendously different just because we've worked it so much in camp. You have to have plans for different types of players. And when we had our backup battle with Cole and Deuce, we kind of worked a little bit more of that package. And our offensive front, we've got some old veteran leadership up there that has been in the playbook for a long time, and I think they've handled it really, really well. And some of them are excited for a few different schemes. It's nice to kind of have a change up here and there, get a little different flavor of the week, and they've handled it really well.
Coach, your team rushed for a season high 214 yards in that game. Now, Deuce had 60 of them, but I feel like Shamari and Ramon both have been getting more touches. Is there more of a commitment to the ground game the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to have that in this league to be competitive throughout the entire four quarters. If you just sit there and you drop back and throw the ball, you can make splash big plays here and there, but you have to be able to run the win and be able to control the football. That's to me, the run game, that's what it gives you the ability to do, to get some clock management, to grind them down a little bit. And then that also opens up the shot plays with the big arms. So we're going to continue to try to run the football the best we can and kind of take what the defense gives us.
What do you guys think for Middle Tennessee State? Are you excited to be on ESPN2 for the first time in program history?
Yeah, absolutely. What an opportunity. I mean, I feel like I'm probably a broken record up here when we talk about making history and it's never been a better time to be a Missouri State Bear. Well, you get to play on Big Dog ESPN. All right, if you want to be a nationwide brand and you want the whole world to see you play, now's the opportunity. Our players are fired up for that opportunity. We're going to get to play a good middle team. Coach Mason, I've respected him for a long time as a defensive head coach as well. Obviously, we kind of follow each other to see who's doing what and schematically and those types of things. His teams always play hard. You see them play hard, and they're a well-coached football team. This year, when you kind of watch the tape, they're different teams from time to time. The team versus Nevada wasn't quite the team versus some of the others. I think they're trying to kind of find some consistency, but they do have athletes all over the field. Their quarterback gives them a chance to win. They have a dynamic running back as well as some big-time playmakers on the perimeter. And then defensively, again, he's a defensive head coach. They're sound. They do a good job affecting the quarterback, so we got to be ready to go.
How does the Wednesday calendar, how's it adjusted things on your weekly preparation?
Yeah, I think for the guys on the staff, as obviously the players have never done it, but I've been in the MAC with the MACtion on Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, those types of games. I think it really helps us how our league does it so that you have Wednesday nights consecutively, if that makes sense, so that once you hit October, you're in a new game week. So, for example, tomorrow is game week Tuesday. You know, my goal and my hope to get pounded into the players is that there are no more average person days of the week. You look up and it's game week Tuesday, it's game week Wednesday, perfect Thursday, travel, go try to get a win. And we have to live in that mindset because, you know, there's certain distractions that come with college campuses on a weekend. We have to have the maturity, we have to have the mindset of we're here for a purpose. We're here to put the best football team possible on the field for Missouri State, and that's what we're going to do.
Coach, what was the decision-making behind Bailey taking Clark's place ahead of Forbacher this past Saturday?
Yeah, Deuce has been playing extremely well in practice. He gives us a dynamic opportunity to kind of move the pocket with the passing game with some play-action pass as well as rush the football with his feet. You know, Cole has practiced well also, but we thought Deuce gave us the best chance to win. That's why he was the one to go in the game.
Coach, MTSU, like you guys already played in Marshall, how has that helped you with film and prepping for them?
Yeah, I think it's always good to have good comparative competition. And again, it's one of those things, you watch them and you're evaluating their personnel just as much as what they do schematically. Because when you're preparing for a game like this, you look at matchups that they could be trying to take advantage of and also that we can take advantage of. So it's been really good film to watch, and you know, we watch film till our eyes bleed, so we've got to watch all the games multiple times. And again, they do a good job at middle.
Coach, sounds like there's going to be a point in the season when Jacob and Deuce are both healthy. Is there ever going to be an opportunity to maybe get them on the field at the same time and kind of work out some packages that maybe are unique to the program with two quarterbacks like that?
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I think, you know, that creates some preparation issues. You know, the offensive style of Deuce Bailey, the offensive style of Jacob Clark. You never know if two quarterbacks are on the field at the same time. Trick play variations, all the different types of things are opened up. So I think that's a really, really good thing to put on tape for defensives to need to prepare for.
You know, talking about that with Jacob, because it's day-to-day, no surgery needed, no tears, can you confirm that? Or
Confirm which part?
no tears, no surgery needed for Jacob's left knee?
Yeah, we're excited about him being day-to-day. We got a good diagnosis. I think it's in a positive way for a football team, and we're excited to get him back. He's ready to go. He's a competitive kid. He's been out there with his teammates doing what he can, and when he's ready, he will be in the game.
Has he practiced?
He's been out of practice.
I mean, on the field running around?
He's been on the field at practice.
At this point in the season, the mini bye and the regular bye, you know, on top of Jacob's injury, just kind of the perfect time of year to kind of have this gap and refresh for the home stretch of the Conference USA schedule.
Yeah, again, I like how our schedule sits. the mini bye week to work on some of the things that we've had through, again, we had a pretty tough 5 games. And I think it's good just to kind of take a deep breath, take a step back, see what we need to, focus on. You get what you emphasize. We say that all the time. And this week was great. Obviously you get a little leery after a highly emotional game like WKU with all the storylines, those types of things. You wonder how the team will come out and practice. They've had a really good week. The guys are focused. I think they're determined to put their best performance possible on ESPN. So, again, we're going to continue to do that this week and get ready to roll.
Back at JJ, was the decision to redshirt based on just kind of a depth thing? You guys have a lot of safeties, so was his decision to redshirt based on that?
Yeah, I don't think he liked his role that he was currently in, and it's a decision he made, and I couldn't be happier about the guys that are on the field. They're playing well. We got a great DB room. The safeties have, been pretty dominant. It's a hard group to play in. He probably realized that, again, it wasn't going to go quite the way he wrote it, and that's his decision. We support him fully, and again, I think we got a really good defense this year.
Speaking of,
Talk about Dash Luke and his development.
Yeah, our Dash has been tremendous. And you've kind of see him just grow up right in front of your eyes. Last year you were kind of like, wish we would get some more in some places, like we all were. And he took it personally this offseason. He's had a tremendous offseason. He's got stronger. He's filled out, worked on his hands, worked on his playbook knowledge with Jacob. They've become closer because one of the things when you lose the kind of production we lost last year, who's going to be the guy? And he made it a personal challenge to be the guy that Jacob feels comfortable with, that he can hit when he's open and those types of things. And the best thing about him, Art, also is he's dynamic in the return game. The one thing that he's done a nice job of is fielding punts, returning kickoffs, and that's an element of the game that you can break it wide open with in special teams.
What about Christian Gardner? I mean, he made an insane one-handed catch that got Deuce his very first touchdown pass of his career.
Yeah, he's a special kid. I don't know if you've been around him or watched him much pregame or just got to get close enough to him to feel some juice. It's rare to have a player coming out of high school that I think is that physically prepared to be successful at this level. He looks the part. You see him run through contact. And I'm not saying, he's just a bruiser in there, but when DBs try to get their hands on him, you see him run right through contact, get back into the route variation, and he's strong at the point, which is what you want. He's an exciting player. I can't wait to see him grow in this offense.
After the game, you talked about how the lights weren't too bright for Bailey. When you go back and look at the tape, what did you see that made you confirm that? And what did you see that made you go, all right, we got to clean up this?
Yeah, I mean, there were both. The one thing about it, when his numbers called and he walked out, he was confident, he was courageous. He has no fear of running the football. He knows how dynamic he can be with his legs. We just need to put him in a position to be successful to where, with the green dots now, you tell Jacob one thing and he takes off and runs with it. You don't have to tell him anything else. This week, we've worked on, Nick overly communicating with Deuce in the headset, giving him things to look for, and just, getting into those advantage checks we always talk about. And the one thing about Deuce that I've been really happy to see is once he knew that he might be starting this football game, it's been a shot of life for him. He's walking different. He carries himself different. He's watching a little more film, getting in there with Nick a little more. So whoever runs out on Wednesday night, I think we'll be fully prepared to get it done.
Back to the kind of the bye week scenarios here. It looks like it's been pretty active just down the recruiting trail. Through the first 5 weeks of the season, getting on national TV, just the expanded exposure. You feel like that's made a difference talking to JUCO guys and high school guys? Yeah,
it's been great, and I think people being on that level, they get to see your brand of football, and it's an exciting brand of football. Offensively, defensively, special teams, we play a brand of football that is appealing to all of those people you just named. And we will have guys out tonight and then obviously at the bye week coming up to make sure that we're doing a good job of making sure we're prepared to fill those roster needs and move forward as a program.
Any high school stops tonight?
Yeah, we'll be at a bunch of places around the area. We'll be in the Springfield area. We'll be in OKC. We'll be in Dallas. Just a few other places around the area.
You alluded to MTSU's quarterback, Nicholas Fabiano, earlier. What have you seen from him? How are you going to prepare for that? And then their defense as well.
Yeah, he's got a good arm. He knows where to go with the football, and he's got good weapons around him. Again, I think a compliment to a good quarterback is a good running game, and they do have that. I think Middlebrook is a strong runner. He's got good vision. He knows how to break tackles. Again, I'm sure you guys don't watch a ton of tape, but he's shown the ability to have massive runs, explosive plays. We have to do a good job containing him. But back to the quarterback, he does a good job of keeping plays alive with his legs. And then defensively, they're big up front. We got to do a good job of, making sure we can be creative enough to get explosives. Whichever quarterback's in the game, we have to make sure we can identify where pressure's coming from, get the front slit it to where it needs to go, and then go from there.
Anything else for Coach?
One last question. Did you make a call to your father-in-law yet? Congratulating on being interim head coach of Arkansas?
Oh, of course. What an opportunity. I know he's excited. He's ready to go. The one thing Bobby Petrino is he's a winner. I think they've had a jolt of energy down there that's been received really, really well by their players and staff. And, again, look at his overall record and body of work. I don't think I bet against Bobby P to win.
What did you, obviously your family, but what do you glean from that? Like, when you look at that guy compared to other coaches that don't have just the same impression, the same imprint, what do you think that makes him different than other coaches that have tried and haven't been successful?
Yeah, his attention to detail and competitive nature, I think, is heads and shoulders more than I've ever seen. I mean, every single thing needs to be the right way or it's addressed. And I think that's how you create excellence. I think when you hold people to a standard and your ability to confront and demand and make sure that the players know that the best players are treated just like the scout team guys, that's how you develop a real program and a real organization to where they understand the standard, and he's smart enough to put the players in positions to make plays.
Coach, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.